we weren't allowed to record any of our footage. We've got B-roll, which is I'm really pleased it's gameplay B-roll.
Gameplay B-roll. Yeah,
when I saw
it's
it,
good B-roll as well.
Yeah, it looks like good B-roll. So I'm going to play the B-roll now, and we're going to keep chatting while it's playing. So yeah, Ben, lead us out, man. What did you think?
Right, so my gameplay session with Vertigo took place really early for me in the UK. I was still a little bit bleary-eyed. I'd just woken up, but the game quite quickly woke me up. It quite quickly snapped me back to reality. The level of polish took me massively by surprise. Now, Vertigo make extremely polished VR products anyway. They've got a huge back catalogue of great VR titles. So it's not like I didn't expect them to make something polished. But jumping in, and it was the PC VR version we were playing, let's just say that outright straight away. It was very impressive. The environments looked great. The detail on the guns, the controls, the way it felt like a AAA VR product from the off.
Yeah, there was really low amounts of jank, considering it still is early access. Yeah, and there was a ton of graphical options as well for people who haven't got the best GPUs, which I thought was really cool.
I think I pushed mine up quite a bit, but there was an overwhelming amount of graphics options for the PC VR version, and a huge amount of comfort options and control options as well. We spent probably 10 minutes before we actually got into any gameplay tinkering with visual settings and tinkering with comfort settings.
Right.
So for people who like to play maybe seated, there is an option for it. People who like to switch left hand to right hand in terms of what hand's holding their gun, you can do it. If you want the proper active reload, like slamming a clip in, cocking it back, that's there. But if you want something more arcadey, there is a more arcadey reload mechanic as well. There's a lot there to tinker with to tailor the experience to the kind of VR player you are. And I don't know about you, man, we spent a lot of time sitting there just tinkering with that before we got playing.
See, I was going to say, when it comes to the reload, in case anyone doesn't know, I played it in Gamescom ages ago, and they had no other reload than press a button, as far as I remember. So I knew the real reloading was coming, or the active reloading was coming, which is pretty cool. But funny enough, while playing it, I really got into dual wielding. And then I went back to the auto reloading, which is basically where the ammo is on your chest. So you just put the gun, you press the button, release the clip, guns to the chest, back away. And it kind of just like added, I hate to say it, Tamtu said it, but you know, like in Tomb Raider where you're running along just like shooting the hell out of everything with like dual pistols. It was like that. Yeah. It was, and I really enjoyed that because for me, this game isn't so much a serious game. It actually does feel like a fun arcade kind of experience game.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But then what I like is that if you want it to feel a bit more serious and a bit more tense, you can switch to the other reload mechanic.
Yeah.
And the difference that makes is huge. The kind of arcadey reload you're talking about reminded me a lot of Zombieland, Headshot Fever, where you kind of pull your gun to a certain point and it reloads for you. So you're kind of clipping it to your chest, reload. But yeah, the active reload, slamming the clip in, pulling it back, just adds an element of tension, especially when the hordes are coming. And the hordes are big. They're more on screen than I expected there to be.
Yeah, and like when I was practicing shooting different parts of their body, it was so cool. Like little things like that really impressed me where they don't just all... So when you were saying about Vertigo Games and their past titles, I do agree they are of a good quality, and they've definitely, like, you cannot say bad things about the support they've given for Arizona. Loads of DLC, loads of updates and stuff. But graphically, the game is now behind because it's an old game. So seeing this was really pleasing.
Yeah, it's so visually pleasing. And I mean, I think a lot of people will be curious about the Quest 2 version. I wish we could speak to that, but we haven't seen that yet. But the PC version is absolutely stunning. This bit of gameplay that's playing now, my voice might be a bit out of sync because I'm watching the stream as well, but the gameplay of the indoors section where you're going through the corridors, going down the stairs, that was so cool. And there's an element of it rewards you for exploring those environments. So you can make a beeline through these levels from start to finish. and you'll be rewarded for killing the enemies and collecting resources. The basic premise is that you want to get as many resources as possible to come out the other side of the mission, to then upgrade your gear, buy better gear, buy attachments for your gear, and then jump into a new mission. So you're constantly harvesting resource. If you explore the levels more, you can increase the amount of resource you get. So there's things like key cards to find, which will open certain doors to get you access to rooms with more loot. There's items that if you find and carry through to the end of the mission or complete the mission after finding them, you get more resource. So the game's very much about trying to capture and get hold of as much loot as possible. It's more of a looter shooter than I realized. And it's not traditional looter shooter like a Borderlands, but you are encouraged to get as much loot as you can and really test yourself. Because I believe higher difficulties also give you more loot.
Yeah, I've noticed there's different coloured parts to the weapons as well as you upgrade it. And to be clear, they wanted to make sure that people know that you're not upgrading your person, you're upgrading your equipment, which gives you, which I thought was great because for what I'm saying is like an arcade game, that's kind of more realistic, isn't it? Like, all right, do you know what I mean? You're not going to unlock special abilities, you're going to unlock better weapons and better equipment to survive what's going on. And I think ultimately the most impressive thing to me was the lobbies, because you can be
my god,
you can be on any platform, on Quest, PlayStation and PC, and all come together in one party and be talking and go and play the game together. And that bit to me is the bit I'm most excited about, without a doubt.
I think I actually said to Tam, community manager who we were playing with, I remember when he said that, he was like, now he'll probably correct the number, but it was something like 32 people in that lobby.
Yeah, that's right, 32.
32 people can exist in this kind of hub world.
Yeah.
So you can load in, and there's 31 other people running around this little hub world. Within that hub world, there's things to do, little arcade games to play. So it's kind of a social hub before you go into the actual game.
Yeah, there really is an arcade game in there.
It's an arcade game.
Yeah, and I was playing that, and he told me like the developer's high score and stuff. I was like, this is so cool.
So it's like hanging out in an actual arcade before you go, right, I now need to go out into the wilds and I need to go and kill some zombies. But if you don't have a team or any partners, you can walk up to someone in that hub world, click on them, point at them, click on them, and invite them to a party. So
that's what I'm saying. That's the beauty.
It's crazy.
Like there will always be someone online.
Yeah, for solo players who might be like, oh, I don't have a group of friends to play with, you'll be able to find people. And because it's pulling from across Quest, PlayStation VR, PC VR, that solves one of, in my opinion, one of the biggest problems that VR multiplayer games have, and that's a player base, retaining and keeping a player base and giving you enough people to play with at any one time.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. I mean, what did you think? I mean, do you know what difficulty you played on?
I don't. Tamsy's in the chat. I don't know if he remembers. I'm pretty sure we spoke about it. It would have definitely been normal, not easy. It would have been just normal, I think.
Oh, it couldn't be easy. Never.
No,
I think.
No.
So just so everyone understands. So I didn't play in the same session as GT.
Yeah.
So GT was in a later session. I was in with Steve Knows. So me, Steve Knows, and Tamtu ran through one of the levels, and we played on veteran difficulty, which is normal for this game. And I kind of wanted to go higher than that, because
same.
It felt challenging. There were two kind of pinch points for me. There's a point where we needed to basically bring down a container, and we had to turn like a machine on that was bringing the container down, and that brought loads of waves of enemies across.
Yeah,
that bit felt pretty tense, and a couple of really big tanky enemies came. That was pretty full on. And then the very end, there was kind of a standoff, and those 2 points were really good, really hectic. So I'd be interested to see what the difficulty's like when it ramps up the next stage, because I really want to be tested in this game. I want to be pushed to the limit.
Because he said to me, he was like, and he just said to me, he said the run that we had. So I played it with Peter from VR Scout, and he basically said we had the cleanest game he'd seen. And I was like, you say that to everyone. He was like, no, I'm serious.
Everybody.
Yeah, so I don't know if I was running dual Desert Eagles a lot of the time, and it was like, all right, it might take a split second more to get that headshot in, but for me, it would just work out better that way. Once I went for it what's the difference between the reloads? Is one's active and what was the other one? I can't remember.
I want to say passive, but that doesn't make sense.
No, let's go active and arcade, I guess. So arcade was slam on the chest, like with the Desert Eagles and that. It was just like bam, 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 running through all these things. It was very, very cool. And,
did you go hands on with a bigger weapon?
I think it was it an M? No, not an MP. What was it? It was an assault rifle or some sort.
It was an assault rifle. I got my hands on that.
Yeah.
Just to.
I didn't get to try it, but yeah, go on.
The guns that I went hands on with, which was just those two, I think, were amazing. They felt so good.
Yeah.
Like the recoil feels great. Just the right amount of vibrate in the controller, the right amount of kick on them. The first thing me and Steve said to each other was like, damn, these weapons feel really nice. And popping the headshots off and just watching the heads explode. And it's been compared a lot to Left 4 Dead. And like playing it, and I've played hundreds of hours of Left 4 Dead in my time. The biggest compliment I can give is, yeah, it really is Left 4 Dead VR. Like it really is. It's even got the kind of mid-level safe house checkpoints where you can stock up on grenades and healing items, and then you go into the next bit. So if you've played Left 4 Dead, if you've got any time with that franchise, you're going to feel really at home with After the Fall, which is probably one of the biggest compliments I can give, because I absolutely love Left 4 Dead, and that's such an iconic franchise. And this does feel like that in VR, but with its own quirks and its own spin.
What else I loved is how the game loaded in, because it's kind of like not trying to pretend that it's not a game. So when you load into different areas, it's like a Tron holodeck grid, and then everything loads up around it. And I thought that is it looked fantastic. Like I thought, yeah, this is really cool. But yeah, I was just so impressed, and we do need to get through some questions as well.
Let's do it.
In the chat, we need to roll back a bit, I think.
Roll it back.
Yeah, it looks like Tamsu's been doing.
There's a question I've just seen here, which I can answer straight away. So Boy Brown VR says there is no single player mode, is there? Yeah, you can play the game single player. If you don't go in with party members, you will get bots with you. So you can't you can't play completely on your own, like lone wolf with no one. You will have people with you, but they'll be bots if you're just playing on your own. So you will be fine if you don't have a party of friends to play this game with. But as we say, there's going to be parity across the different formats, and there's going to be people sitting in that lobby that you can party up with if you want to play online and just make some friends, which I think is super special. Yeah,
I think that cross-platform thing is going to keep this game alive for a long time. Obviously, I don't know the amount of content in the game. We all played the same level, and we all played like, what was the mode that we played? It wasn't campaign. It was like a gather. It was
Harvest.
Harvest, yeah. So we played Harvest mode. You go through, and that would be... It reminded me of The Division more than any other game. That was kind of like what it reminded me of, the first Division, where you go on these runs to basically kill the enemy, and you get like these yellow little orbs that come out of them. And then, as I said, the game is about upgrading your weapons, and that's what you do. You go to a special weapon bench. You got a little welding gun there, and yeah, you just like take stuff off and put it on again, and it's looking exceptionally good.
Is there a single... Boy Brown VR, no, you misunderstood. Is there a single player campaign? I think the campaign is neither.
It'll still be the same.
There is a campaign to play through. There's a beginning to an end. The point of the game is that you can run these harvest missions as well. But I do believe you can complete the game and get to the end of the content that's there. But it's designed to be run multiple times, going out to do these harvests to get better weapons. So if you wanted to just burst through the campaign on your own, you can.
Well, I don't know if you can play the. I think you're still going to have NPCs.
You're going to have to have the bots.
Yeah, there is.
The bots are always there.
Yeah, you cannot play this game on your own. It would definitely, you know what I'm saying? It'll either be real people online or it'll be bots. So
I think the best way to describe it for me is like Destiny. Like, yes, there is a story that goes from A to B. Like, there's a story to play through, an experience, which you will play with either other people or with the bots. But the game doesn't feel like it's designed to just be played like that. It feels like it is designed to be replayed. You are meant to go and do these harvests. You are meant to keep getting resources. So something it feels like the kind of game that's been built to last far beyond just its launch period, because they could continue to add new harvests, new areas, new missions, new guns. And I think it's really well positioned to become that kind of game that's persistent, and you can go back to it to constantly run these missions. Like me and you could do it on easy and then go, right, let's run it again on veteran. And then there'd be reason to do that because we'd always be upgrading our gear. So
yeah,
it has a campaign, but it feels like it's kind of the game that you would play far beyond completing that.
yeah, and I think that's the whole idea of the game. The whole idea of the game is multiple playthroughs. It isn't aimed at that one. It's aimed at you, for me, to go out there and play with all different types of groups of people and build really cool memories of running this game. That's what it's kind of looks like.
I've played Arizona Sunshine with a bunch of different people, and it's always different. And this feels like it's going to be very similar to that.
What else we got? We had Is There Friendly Fire? Funny enough, I said to Tamsu, I would actually. I think Friendly Fire is funny. Like you can really cause some real issues with that. But I think at the moment you can like shoot each other and it will cause like blood and stuff, but no one gets hurt, as far as I know.
While we're on that subject, the characters, like the in-game characters, have got amazing banter. They talk as well. Again, it's another Left 4 Deadism. Yeah, when you're running around, they say stuff. Like when zombies come out of the walls, they'll talk about that, or they'll talk about something they just picked up. So although you're playing as your character and you're talking to your character has their own voice as well, and they do pipe up, and it's really funny and it's really good to hear them all talking because it gives them a bit more personality.
Are the guns weighted? It kind of actually felt like Half-Life in a way. I think the way it looks a little bit. I'm going to run the B-roll again. And hopefully this is only a compliment. I thought the hands and the way the guns look with the little digital counter and stuff and the gloves, I kind of got like this kind of reminds me of Half-Life for some reason. And the game felt pretty good. I can't remember feeling any disconnection between the weapons and stuff. It felt good to me. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, it did feel. I did note. I'm trying to remember everything I noticed. So played.
I can't remember noticing that they didn't feel like there was weight to them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I normally pick up on stuff like that, especially games like when you've played something like Until You Fall, which is all like melee weapon based stuff. You kind of and Boneworks, you kind of get that thing of like once you felt weapons have a bit of weight, and also with that weight comes a little bit of slowness to them when you're using them and stuff because of that weight. I usually notice when it's not there, and I didn't notice anything with this. It just felt like a normal game.
Arcanian just come in and said, "Are the guns super glued to the hands?" Then no, they can be holstered. You've got 2 holster slots,
and dropped.
One on your left, one on your right, and dropped as well. So if you just want to drop a gun because you don't want it anymore, you can.
Yeah.
And if you just want to pop it into one of your holsters, you can as well. You can also then swap hands, so you can swap a pistol from left to right or a machine gun from left to right, and then you can hold them with both hands as well, including a pistol. So a pistol, you pop the support underneath the stock, and you've got dual handing for a pistol.
Proud Dog, yes, you can revive teammates that are down, which is nice. To see Resil VR, he asked, does After the Fall have B Haptics? Someone else in the chat said they're going to wait for it to have B Haptic support. Ben is now a B Haptics owner, so that is fantastic timing.
Yeah, I'd love to see it get B Haptic support.
Absolutely.
I want every game to have B Haptic support now that I've played with it. Now that I see how good that is, I'm like, I need it. Dan
Zilwood says, do you know if there will be any plans for future DLC? Now, I don't know you know what these developers are like. Look at Arizona. If you don't know what they've done with Arizona, take a look. I would expect that level of support for this game. They don't just chuck out a game and walk away from it. They, as far as I'm concerned, I would expect a year-round content for this, as in maybe 4 different pieces throughout the year, just as an example. That's what I would. If that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. I'd be surprised if there's less than that, because they know what they're doing, and 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 it's kept Arizona going. How old is Arizona, dude? It must be 2017, 2016.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
And that is still although graphics are janky. One thing I asked Tam to add was the Arizona walk-in feature. I think that'd be a great bit of DLC or something, or an unlockable where you just walk weird. I think that'd be great.
That would be great, yeah. One thing I wanted to say before I forget to say, a big thing that Tam2 said that really, really impressed me and made me realize how kind of committed they are to this project and how committed they are to making sure it does have parity across all formats is the number of enemies on screen, the number of enemies that come at you is the same PCVR over to the Quest. So they've managed to keep the Quest version on par with the PC VR version. So, and they have to, because you can play it across the formats. But Tamtu said that enemy wise on screen in the Quest version, it's the same amount of enemies.
I mean, I guess that would have to happen.
It has to, surely.
It surely would do, yeah. I mean, the only thing I remember seeing in the options that was something to do with that is how many bodies are left on screen. That's the only thing I remember. You know, how long do they basically stay there?
How long do they sit there for?
Yeah, till they de-res.
So the Quest might need to kind of make them disappear a little bit quicker than the other formats, but
exactly, that's what I'm expecting.
Seeing the amount of enemies that come at you, especially like the wall crawlers and the ceiling crawlers,
yeah,
that on the Quest is going to be stunning. There's nothing like that on the Quest.
No. Virtual Open asks, does it share any similarities with Arizona Sunshine, or is it completely different in look and feel? There's nothing about Arizona in this game for me. No. And I don't mean that in a bad way, basically, because I love Arizona. But this game is a different level. Like, this is a different level of game.
Yeah. So, and again, like you just said, Arizona's we think it could be 4 years old now.
Yeah.
And this feels like a project or a product that's been made with 4 years more VR experience behind the team and behind the people that have put it together.
Yeah.
It just feels so much more polished.
Hello, everyone in the chat. Yeah. How you doing? Doomslayer, how you doing? Z-Storm, how you doing? Big Boy Biggins, good to see you. Were you given copies of the PC or Quest version? We both play PC, and we was invited along with the community manager, Tamtu, who's in the chat. He can answer your questions if he's still around. And yeah, we basically played online with other people. So
and we had a bloody good time, I think. We both...
bloody. Look at the blood on screen now. There's tons of blood.
We stopped for a bit after killing a particularly big wave, because when you go into an area, the snow is like untouched and beautiful, and it's like all white. And then all the zombies came, and we like killed about 40 zombies. And then we just took a moment to look at the floor afterwards, and we're like, it's not white anymore. Everything was covered in blood, and the blood didn't disappear. So the whole arena just changed from this pure white to this like deep red really quickly. And I like those little touches.
I want to play it on harder. Like
yeah.
Hopefully, me and Ben are going to make a video together, and if we do, I know we're going to play on a harder setting, because he would have blazed through it, and I did as well.
Again, I don't want to tread on anyone's toes or Tamtu's toes, but I believe that they did confirm that sometime after launch there was a plan to implement some kind of character creator or character selecting tool, but I think not at launch. At launch, it's just the default characters that you cycle into. I can't remember who I was playing as. I was kind of like a grizzly old guy with a beard and a hat.
Like you.
You look like me.
You but moisturised, non-moisturised.
Non-moisturised, kind of a bit crispy.
Dry. Performance-wise, I actually had a quick look at my task manager to see how things were going. I had it on the highest setting. So I had the textures on the highest. I had it on 1.2 resolution scale. You can go up to 4K on shadows and something else. I can't remember what it was. And I was basically, I've got a 3070, not like a TI or anything, just a standard 3070. And it was clocking in at 56%. So as far as I can tell, I had it on some of the really good settings, and like my PC wasn't even kicking up a fuss. So
I think I stuck with 1440. I didn't push quite as far upwards. I think I was scared to go 4K. I've got a 2080. So I scaled back a little bit, but I went 1440 and I had no issues. I didn't have any lag. I didn't have any pop in. It just worked.
Yeah.
Which surprised me, considering it's still a debug build. I think we played. It wasn't the final build. It must be close to final, but really impressed with how stable it was.
Yeah. That's the question I missed. Someone asked about melee weapons. I didn't come across any melee weapons.
I don't think there are any.
No.
It's a shame. I want to crack a head with a baseball bat or something, or an axe.
Absolutely. And then like actually get a hammer and put nails into the bat. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, I want to do that. You know what I mean? I think hopefully you can tell we both really enjoyed our time with it.
I really did, yeah. As a big fan of Left 4 Dead, it's just great to finally have a product that does feel like it's giving me that, but in VR. And I'm a big zombie guy. I love my zombie games. I know it does feel like it's quite a utilized genre within the VR space. There's a lot of zombie games. This is, even in its early state that I played, one of the better ones. And there are some great ones out there, but this is extremely polished, and it seems like it's built in a way that supports continued play going forward. It's not going to be a flash in the pan. I think if they can keep the content coming, this could be something that's a staple in people's kind of play circulation for years.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to myself, as big as Arizona Sunshine was and how much support it got, I'm expecting that for this. And there wouldn't have been the amount of players then as there is now. So, like you chuck it, as I said, and Ben was saying, you go into this game, there's going to be 32. If you go and hit this game alone, you're going to load into a lobby with 32 people that can't speak. No one's going to be talking as far as I know. You go in there and you click on their head and you just add them as a friend, and then you can send them a party invite regardless of platform, and up to 4 people can then become friends and play the game together. And I'm just like, that's the bit. That's the bit for me that is so exciting.
That's the metaverse I want.
Yeah. We might see Zuck in there.
He might be in. He'll have his own special avatar.
He will, with that Roman
Dead
haircut.
shark eyes.
That Roman haircut. Just like, that'd be the deal with some DLC.